Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mayor Billy Knight. It's time for our River City Chat. You know, I enjoy coming before you talking about the things in the city because one of the things I promised you that I was always going to try to keep you up to date on what we're doing, you know, and the most recent things that are happening, I just want to talk about it because it just happened with the tornadoes down in Kerr, not tornado, but the flooding down in Kerr, Texas, you know, right outside of San Antonio. And those numbers are really look like every day the numbers are climbing as to the number of people that are missing and number of people that have perished in this terrible accident. But you know, right now the numbers are over 160 some people are still missing. And you know, we've had over 150, 40 some people that have passed away because of this. And on the over 40 at the time of we're doing this taping, it's over 40 so far children, and most of them are young girls. That was at this Mystic Camp, and everybody now again begin to point fingers about, you know, where the blame is and that kind of thing. And it always happens when you have a situation like this, and when everything's settled down, people start finding who to blame. But what I want us to do is really just think about the people that have loss of life. You know, when you had a tornado here, you know, we had a lot of tremendous damage, and we have just about recovered from that. You know, M&M Bank is one of the big tragedies that we had, that it was totally destroyed, and they're going to be opening up now within another month. Thank God that First Baptist Church just signed an agreement with a contractor, and they got their ribbon groundbreaking coming up here very shortly. It's already scheduled for this month, the month of July, and they're going to be start building pretty soon. And so we had a lot of damage, but we did not have the kind of damage that this flood has reaped on this Kerr, Texas community. And so I want us to just focus on them because people thought about us and came in to help us. And if anybody started gathering things to send to Kerr, you know, I want to be a part of that to get our people to donate, to send, because the people have pretty much lost everything they had outside of the precious lives that was lost. So, you know, we had a lot of grief at the time, but thank God we had nothing like what they're going through. And so now the debate is whether or not they should have had some type of warning. They had no kind of emergency alert system in place. And they say that the leaders have been talking about this for several years, about the need, because this is called Flood Alley. Where this flood happened was called Flood Alley. They knew it was prone to flood. The camp, the Mystic Camp, was right on the banks of the water, already in a very dangerous, risky area. And yet our leaders did nothing about that. Well, I'm trying to be more proactive because I learned from the tornado that we had about 20 minutes before the tornado touched down. We knew 20 minutes before it touched down that we had a system in the area. Our chief of police called me and said, Mayor, we got a tornado system in the area. We just don't know where it is right now. That was 20 minutes before he called me back and say, it's just touched down over by the school someplace. Well, if we had an alert system, and the moment I got the word, 20 minutes later, we could have let people know, you know, what happened, what was about to happen. And people could have had time, 20 minutes, to get out of harm's way. Fortunately, we didn't have anybody to get hurt. So what I learned from that is that I need to try to do everything I can to get a warning system for the city of Moss Point, because that's what leadership is about. Leadership is about protecting the people of your city, of your county, of your state, of your nation. Our jobs as leaders is to protect the people. So I'm almost that close to having what you call a code red emergency alert system that will operate on your phone. Now, I know there's a lot of back and forth about, well, would a phone do any good? Because if you don't have your phone, or if late at night, like it was in Kerr, nobody got their phone. Well, this is the best I can do right now. We're going to go to another level, or maybe getting a siren or something like that later. But a siren, they tell me just down in Texas, it was like $70,000 to get one. Well, this telephone system, this telephone emergency alert system, is right at about $7,000, $8,000. And because of the tornado, we was able to get a grant to help us get that. And of course, we have to come up with 25% match to get that. So we're almost there to have this thing. We've got that approved, and we're going to soon, within another couple of months, I hope to be to tell you to sign up for the alert system that we'll have on our phone. And you'll have that alert so that when we get a system notice, you'll be the first one to get that notice. And we can do it by wards. We can do it by communities. It doesn't have to be everybody notified at the same time. We only will notify you when it's in your particular area. So just know, as your mayor, I'm trying to get an alert system for the city of Moss Point. So we won't be having to worry about it after the fact, talking about what we should have done. I don't want to talk about things in no terms. I want to be more proactive to get something before we actually need it. So let's keep our fingers crossed and let's hope that we can make that happen. So think about the people in Texas and pray for them, and just know that we're trying to be more proactive to get that done so that we won't have to worry about those kinds of things. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.